A massive thank you to Ali, Casper, Tez, Matrix and William for subscribing to the channel. If you're not already featured in these clips, make sure you subscribe down below. Hello everyone and welcome back guys to round 18 of Season 7 of the F1 2021 My Team Career Mode. Yesterday we're here back ready for the US Grand Prix here at the iconic Circuit of the Americas. But of course, if you missed out on the last video that went live on Friday, no, it must have been Wednesday, sorry, from Japan even, I would definitely recommend going back and checking it out. Of course, there will be spoilers in just a moment. But as always, though, a massive thank you to all of you guys for the continued support. 52k at the time of recording this is very quickly coming round. I mean, who knows? You know, some of you guys are saying 100k by the end of the year. That would be absolutely mind-blowing. But, you know, if you're not already and you do go on to enjoy the content, please do make sure you get yourself subscribed as well for daily Formula 1 gameplay. But, yeah, today, though, back at the Circuit of the Americas. Of course, Suzuka last time round didn't quite go the way I wanted, but could have been a whole lot worse still. Championship-wise, we still lead the way, 33 points clear over George Russell there, who's a further 38 points ahead of Sergio Perez. 6 races to go of the year, including today, which just means now it is a top 4 shootout between myself, both Red Bulls, and Lando Norris. Basically needs a miracle if he wants to win the title. Constructors-wise, the Red Bull just further opening up that gap last weekend. They're 52 points back now at this stage of the game. But the battle for P3 very much heating up between Mercedes, AlphaTauri and Ferrari there. What we can do this weekend at COTA, I'm not really too sure. But fingers crossed we can try and get back on top here and try and beat Red Bull. Because, yeah, we want to try and close in the Constructors' Championship. But a lot of that relies on Max still. Let's get into it. Formula 1 is finally back in 2022 and now you can rep your favourite teams. Of course, using the F1 store, every team now has merch lineups available, whether you're an Aston Martin fan, a Williams fan, Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, the choice is completely up to you. But yeah, check out the F1 merch store down below for all the official releases from all of the teams. And of course, as always, if you use our links as well, you massively help support the channel. So yeah, give it a look and see if there's anything you like. Right, well here we are then, back at the Circuit of the Americas. Quite a, you know, it's a track I do really enjoy still on the F1 games. It's a whole lot better than it is on iRacing with all the sausage curbs, but fingers crossed today though. Like I said, you know, we just want to try and start closing points down in Red Bull in the Constructors' Championship. Luckily though, we have obviously got a bit of a safety buffer in the Drivers' title, but you know, if George Russell continues on with the strong run of form he had at Japan, that gap could come down rather quickly here as we navigate our way through the S's for the first time on a set of hard tyres. Don't often see me on these, you know, take a picture, save the memories. As we head out of Sector 1, mainly purple, there are a couple of greens, just to balance it out, you know, make it look a bit more interesting. Just remembered how loose the car likes to get through this final sector of the lap. Definitely need to up the ride height slightly. Round in the final corner, then up towards the line. It is going to only be the green coming towards the end then of my tyre wear run. A lot of the lap has been in the red, but it's just recovered back up into the green and the purple. Round in the final corner, just try and keep it clean and tidy up towards the line. Purple score, let's get into quali. Right, well, fingers crossed then we don't have a repeat of Suzuka here, because I do not want to be going out in Q2 once again, and to be honest, as long as we don't do what we did down at Turn 3 at Suzuka, as long as we don't repeat that, we should be okay, because it wouldn't have mattered whether I qualified on pole or last. We would have ended up at the back of the field after that mistake, as immediately at Turn 1. Maybe just over-pushing these medium tyres a little bit, just trying to get sort of the first lap in on this set of rubber then, as we get them used as we head through the S's. Nice and tucked in through here still. I'm going to miss these cars when F1 2022 launches, because even the Williams now feels like a rocket ship, but yeah, this thing I'm really going to miss. That Stroll setting the pace on a 1:28.5. I think a low 28 is probably going to be the pole time here, but we might see a couple of people try and sneak down into the 27s as try and hit the apex through the penultimate corner. Always a difficult one to spot. Straight line braking in through the final turn, then roll on the throttle, short blast up to the line. That's only a 30.3, but we were on the harder tyres, and that huge mistake at turn 1, so easily can probably get into the 28s. I'm going to try and avoid leaving it to chance as well this time around. We're just going to go out for our first run on the softs a little bit earlier than I did at Suzuka. Just means then we can try and get 2 laps in if required. out of the final corner then. A lot of the pace, like I said, should be found down at turn 1, and especially through the first sector. Braking just as you see that gantry on the outside, and then just roll on the throttle at turn 1, and immediately, look at that, over half a second through the first corner. That gives me a lot of confidence as we head down through the S's, blend the throttle through the second part, down the 1 gear through the third, and just try and keep it clean and tidy. So you head around the rest of this section there, and look at that, 3/4 of a second up as we attack the curbs on the exit, try and get the throttle down. And look at that, 8/10 up now as we get towards the hairpin on the back straight. Heading through the final couple of turns then, 1.3 seconds up at the moment, and oh, that was beautiful through the penultimate corner there. Really took a lot of curb on the way through. And in the final turn we go, though. Straight line, use the curbing on the exit, and that's a 28.7. Tucks us nicely up into P4 then at this stage of the session, and that should be good enough to see us through into Q3. Like I said, that should be good enough to see us through into Q3, but everyone else has gone out for a run right at the end of the session, so I'm just going to try and go out once more in case we see the times improve there. Russell now slots up into P3, and now we get slowly bumped back down the order just a little bit. So, I mean, if it doesn't look like anyone else is going to improve, then of course we can just abandon this lap, save the tyres ready for our Q3 run, and it's looking like I think we should be good. Just see what we can do through the S's there. You can see 6th gear on the way in. Try and keep the car a bit tidier and getting in the green even more as we head through the rest of Sector 1. Yeah, so we have made it safely through then in P5, and there is more time to find when we get into Q3 as well. And there we go then, official confirmation at the end of Q2 there. Charles Leclerc out, he was fastest in Q1. I honestly thought this could be a Ferrari track this weekend, but Sergio Perez 28.4 there ahead of Stroll, Russell and Yuki Tsunoda. We were only 2/10 ahead of Max Verstappen though, and yeah, really surprised Charles Leclerc didn't make it through. He went near enough a second slower than he did on his Q1 run there, but Charles Leclerc out in Q2, no other major surprises joining him. Can we try and get the lap hooked up here? Can we try and put this thing at least sort of towards the front run? Right, out of the final corner then, about to start our first Q3 lap as we activate the DRS and go over the line. This, of course, is the same set of tyres that we used on that aborted run in Q2. But let's just wait and see then how much grip they can still provide us here. I mean, even if we could just try and get back into the 28s, that'd be a good little benchmark here ready for the second run as we head down in towards the S's. Just blend the throttle on the way in that time round. So a big kick of understeer there as we try to attack the curbs. Didn't feel like the tidiest run through the S's, but it still weirdly felt quite quick there, as that's a lot of curb on the exit. The FIA do let you get away with it, so we will do so then. Not quite the IndyCar line, but not too far away as we head down towards the bottom of the circuit. Carlos Sainz 29.1. That wasn't a time good enough for his teammate to make it into Q3 there, so I don't think that's going to put Sainz very high up the order. But as we head down the back straight, there we go. Verstappen gives us a better representative, pretty much matching the time I did in Q2. Just having to blend the throttle slightly through the Turkey S section to keep the back end in check, but swing the car in right from the far right hand side there through the penultimate corner. Oh, that's a bit cheeky through the final turn there, but I don't think it'll have gained us anything. And a 28.5, or even lower than a 28.5. That lap I was not expecting there. What can we do on our final run then? Right, we're getting ready then for our final attempt here, and I think it is, yeah, George Russell, I want to say, who's currently now down on a 28 flat. So this is going to require an absolutely otherworldly style lap here to finish off qualifying from the US Grand Prix. Just a few seconds left on the clock as we head over the start-finish line, but we're going to really need to try and concentrate here. Lamp on the brakes, stamp on the loud pedal out of turn 1 there, trying to avoid the wheel spin, and again another 10th found through the first corner. This has got to be our lap of the year so far. The end of the S as we go, just keeping it clean and tidy there. Again, get the inside wheels over that sausage curb, and 1/4 of a second up as we head out the first sector there. That was probably the best S's section I'm ever going to get on F1 at 2021. Trying to brake a little bit later at the bottom of the hill and then roll on the part on the exit. 3/10 up now as we open the DRS there. Lost a little bit of time just like clipping the detection point where I'd hoped to. But now as we head down in towards Sector 3, we've got to be brave. But we can't afford to lose it either. This lap has got to be a good one as Tsunoda now is starting to get in the way a little bit as we head through the final sector. Luckily Yuki spots us and jumps out of the way in his Mercedes. So just a little bit of a correction on the exit. 4/10 up though as we head through the final couple of corners. Back end really trying to break away that time around, but 2 more corners to go then. Here of qualifying for the US Grand Prix, really chucked it through the penultimate corner, attack the curbs through the final turn. They use the exit curb as well. DRS up to the line, it's a 27.9. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, good job, mate. Really well done. That was a fantastic drive.
We're all ready for tomorrow's race, but before we begin, let's have a quick look at those who will be fronting the grid. Mr. Monaco, Russell and Sergio Perez. With qualifying complete, all that remains is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the Grand Prix tomorrow, so make sure you join us then.
I'm genuinely not sure how I managed to get that lap in, but those are the sorts of laps that define Formula 1 World Championships. Red Bull held some pace back earlier on in the session. Both of their drivers blitzed out a 28 flat there when Q3 was pretty much coming to a close, and somehow we find another half a tenth there, dipping into the 127s here at COTA. They're 7/10 clear of our teammate Max Verstappen, but really happy with that lap. Fingers crossed the pace can continue into the Grand Prix. Let's get into it then here from COTA. This channel is proudly sponsored by Bybit, the official crypto partner of Red Bull's Formula 1 team. I've been using their platform for my personal crypto savings over the last few months, and when they got in touch to support the channel, I was super excited. Currently, they're offering you guys a special new promo for the first 100 of you to deposit $10 or more onto the platform. You'll get another $10 free. Also, 5 lucky winners will get their initial deposit doubled up to $1,000. That means if you deposited $1,000 onto the platform using my codes below, you could be within a chance to get another $1,000 completely free. We've seen the landscape around crypto drastically change over the last couple of years, and I genuinely believe it holds an important place in our future. However, please be careful as always when trading, as you are liable to lose money. But if you're interested and you're 18 or older, click the link down below to get started and see why Red Bull and myself, as well as thousands of others, trust Bybit as their crypto.
Here we are then in one of the fastest growing cities in the United States, the fabulous Austin, in the great state of Texas. The circuit itself 14 miles southeast of the city centre and home to the US Grand Prix since 2012. The latest in a long list of iconic tracks to have that honour. We have 10 turns to the left and 10 to the right here at the fantastic Circuit of the Americas. Overtaking opportunities into turns 1 and 12 at this anti-clockwise 3.6 mile track. But we may well see cars struggle to slow down there today as the wet weather does interfere with the low-speed grip. Not one of the easiest days to go racing. It's damp, it's slippery, there's dark clouds as far as the eye can see. The rain is here then, and that's going to take away a lot of the grip, Anthony Davidson, and make turn 1 very interesting indeed.
Yeah, it's these kind of conditions where you can go in with one of two mindsets. You either see it as an opportunity, or you're worried that all of your hard work's about to be undone. We've been stuck in these conditions now for a few hours, more or less this kind of intensity, so we don't seem to have too much standing water, so we're not likely to be starting behind a safety car. And like you say, Crofty, the charge down into turn 1 would be quite interesting. I think we're in for a cracking Grand Prix.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Mr. Monaco lines up on pole position, and starting next to them is George Russell. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Stroll, Lando Norris and Verstappen, Bottas, Ricciardo, Sainz and Charles Leclerc, Ocon, Giovinazzi and Guan Yu Zhou and Mick Schumacher, Aitken, Mazepin, Christian Lundgaard and Nicholas Latifi, Tsunoda, Ireland, Giotto and Robert Schwartzman. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head to trackside for today's race.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
Right, well here we are then on the grid, ready for the US Grand Prix. 6 races to go of the season here, and I was not expecting changeable conditions here at COTA, but a wet to dry track is one of my happiest places to be on a Formula 1 race weekend there. Of course, that's always going to underfuel the car. I guess the real question today is trying to make sure we can get those tyres to the dry window there. But going to be difficult off the start here, but we are running quite high aero as well. George Russell, Sergio Perez just behind me. I'm sure they're going to try and challenge us down towards turn 1. But let's get into it then. Round 18 of the year, here from the Circuit of the Americas. Intermediate conditions, 5 red lights. And it is going to be lights out, and away we go. Trying to just modulate the throttle as best as possible as we head up towards turn 1 there. And George Russell, he's going to try and have a look up the inside there. I think Perez might have been trying it as well there. We might have been 3 wide through turn 1, but Perez gets squeezed out. But George Russell, a critical move at the start of the US Grand Prix there. He immediately takes the lead with the inside run down at turn 1, a bit like Hamilton on Nico Rosberg back all the way in 2015 there. But yeah, I mean, this race is certainly not going to be decided on that one, or at least I hope not. Anyway, it's just snagging the brake a little bit as we head up the hill. Sergio Perez, though, going to try and apply pressure as well here. Of course, we have still got the 33-point buffer in the championship over George Russell, and this has not always been a track particularly brilliant for our raw pace. But we'll wait and see what we can do today. Now, has Jeff got any idea about the rain?
We're not certain which is the best tyre right now, dries or inters.
It's raining still, Jeff. I'm going to guess the inters are still the way to go. But yeah, clearly it's not actually that far away from the crossover period. But on the pre-race dash, it did say the rain was meant to get worse before it gets better. So we might have a little bit more of a thunderstorm coming through in a little while. But as we head through the final few corners of lap 1, just trying to work out what the grip levels are like here in these changeable conditions. This is going to be a race that's going to keep us on our toes, I feel. But, you know, I like those races as well. It's a very, very different challenge to what you sometimes get on F1 at 2021 there. As rounding the final couple of corners then of lap 1, Russell gains a place that I lose. Perez still at P3 there, as Verstappen up into P4. That's what I like to see from our teammate. And then Stroll relegated to P5 there, as Tsunoda with grid penalties. Not what Mercedes need. Oh, there we go. A little bit faster than Russell that time.
Keep this up.
As already, I think we're starting to have our Hamilton-Verstappen style battle here. Just romping away a bit from our teammates early on in this race. I would have loved for Verstappen to have been in this title battle. Of course, we got that 1-2 at Singapore. I actually made a mistake in that video. That was our second 1-2 of the year after the Bahrain Grand Prix season opener. But yeah, Verstappen, only 2 runner-up finishes all year long, and he's still yet to win a race. You know, it's an odd year in Formula 1, where, I mean, Lance Stroll can win a race, but Max Verstappen can't. Very, very strange times, but we've had so many winners early on in this year, but now, and again, it probably is a little bit more like F1 2012, in that sense of a lot of winners early on, and then 2 guys from 2 different teams kind of emerge at the front. Fingers crossed that we are not Fernando Alonso in this situation here, as we try and get a good run on Russell down the back straightaway. Only lap 3 here, and we're already applying pressure to our fellow Brit. I think he's just going to try and sit on the apex. We're going to try and do the up and under on him, and look at that, he did try to cover it off, but just could not put the power down, and clean up the inside we go then. The cheekiest of little switchbacks early on in this race, but we re-inherit the lead here at COTA. Now the difficult bit, trying to hang on to it. I mean, look at this, end of lap 4 then. We are just pulling away, actually, from Russell at a pretty decent rate of knots here, about half a second a lap.
The radar's showing a clear patch on its way. There's about 10 more minutes of this rain. Not sure whether dries or inters are faster. We're right on the crossover.
So team actually believe we are right on the crossover, so I'm guessing we're waiting for the FIA to enable the DRS there. That is always the key on F1 at 2021 there, unless of course you do what I did at Singapore and brave it out for 2 more laps and somehow walk away with a race victory. But yeah, Russell 1.6 seconds back there, Perez about another 1.6 behind
well
him.
Out there. Keep it up. We're looking at about 10 more minutes of rain. 10 minutes.
Thanks, Jeff. I wonder if Jeff's got dementia, to be honest, because that's twice in a minute he's told me that. But are we going to miss him on F1 22? I feel like at the moment I'm saying no, but when that game drops, perhaps I'll long for Jeff once more. But I don't see it at the moment. Someone clip that, so later on down the line when I'm moaning about Mark, you'll remind me. Oh, hello. Down at turn 1, a little bit of wheel spin there. But I guess the other real question early on in this race is when we do have to pit onto dries, what dry tyres do we use? Is it worth trying to gamble it on a one-stop, trying to, say, take a set of mediums right the way through to the checkered flag? Or is it worth just going on to a set of softs there and either then having to move on to mediums if they don't last very well, or onto another set of softs later on in the Grand Prix? I can't help but feel it's fairly likely Verstappen will box one lap before me here. Russell even will have to box one lap before me here. Just because, of course, we don't normally like to take the risk too early over a crossover period. But yeah, we're just keeping that gap at about 2 seconds. So if that does happen, we have still got enough in the back pocket that we won't lose out badly. There we go then, lap 8. Still no sign of the rain stopping just yet. The gap's still going in the right direction there. You can just see, you know, sort of Russell and I pulled away from Perez. Perez has pulled away from Verstappen. He still seems to be battling it out with, I think, Lando Norris and Lance Stroll. So we just need Verstappen to give us that little bit extra, have that little bit more fight in the car. You know, that little bit that you often see Verstappen have over his teammates, he just doesn't seem to have in this career mode. Just a little bit of a wobble there. Always a bit of a scary experience on F1 2021. But yeah, just still waiting out at the moment. It's not been the most exciting start to a Grand Prix. But that's the way Formula 1 goes sometimes, especially, you know, if we're trying to do our best Seb Vettel impression and lead from the front. I don't know how you lead from any other position in Formula 1, but I've said it now.
We're looking at another 5, maybe 10 minutes of this rain. We're not certain which is the best tyre right now, dries or inters.
Well, Jeff's still thinking 5 to 10 minutes more of this rain, so either it's just going to be like this all afternoon, or, yeah, we are finally going to see a bit of a changeover soon. I mean, tyre wear is absolutely fine. I'm pretty certain, actually, in the past, I've no-stopped this race here at COTA, although saying that, I think it would get a little bit close for comfort towards the end, but yeah, you could definitely safely one-stop it if you needed to. But yeah, even if the rain sort of stays till about lap 20, there we go. Yeah, of course we'll just try and hang on out until the dry period. But yeah, at the moment, green sector 1, green sector 2. I think we might have just bottled the fastest lap attempt here as we head up the hill. Through the final corner we go though. We'll still try as we head out of the final corner. Get on the loud pedal. Okay, there we go.
Great work. That's a new fastest lap of the race.
43.5. We're still setting the timing screens then, as track conditions definitely slowly improving.
Okay, I think the track will be drying out quite soon. Mind you don't burn out your tyres.
Yep, so Jeff thinking the same thing I am. Doesn't happen often on F1 2021 that we're on the same page, and maybe I should be a bit worried there that I'm thinking the same sort of things as Jeff, but yeah, end of lap 10, just gap still hovering about where it was. Just starting to upset the tyres a little bit. Every once in a while they just try and lose a bit of grip, a bit of traction.
Be careful, we think you're going to start losing some tyre grip around now.
Oh my god, I think Jeff's reading my mind. That's not good. Jeff knows everything I'm thinking now.
Okay, looks like some of those puddles are clearing. We're still on the right tyre for the time being, but we're not a million miles away from slick conditions.
The change is happening, but it is happening very slowly here at COTA. We've just still got to keep doing what we're doing. I mean, we've got 4 seconds now in the back pocket over George Russell, as, I mean, yeah, Verstappen already probably fairly close to a pit stop away in these conditions.
We're expecting you in around 2 laps, and we'll be putting you on the intermediate tyres.
And Jeff, if you're expecting that, you will not be seeing me in 2 laps, mate. There we go. Clearly Jeff and I not always on the same page still. If he'd said we might try and do an alternate strategy, I would have been very scared. Oh, there we go. DRS re-enabled then, and we're starting to get a few cars into the pits.
Strategy option.
So Jeff is now going to recommend a new strategy, and they reckon double soft to the end is going to be the way to go. And to be honest, I'm with them on that one. Not sure how far the medium tyres go around this circuit, but 16 laps, especially in these conditions, seems like a tall order, so we may as well have the extra grip. And then, of course, just worry about the tyre wear later on in the afternoon. I guess the only other thing is, of course, if Russell tries the alternate strategy, then things could get spicy towards the end of the Grand Prix. But getting the car slowed down then tidily into the pit lane. Don't knock the front wing, anything like that. Just no pressure. We've got 5 seconds in the pocket for George Russell behind there, as he is also going to peel into the pit lane. I think everyone's going to have to peel in you know, staying out the extra lap probably doesn't seem worth it. So I was worried then that Verstappen might just do so. But anyway, hopefully we can get a nice clean tidy stop. 2.7 is not shabby at all. And we are still going to be clean out ahead then of George Russell.
Stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross over into the track.
So Ricciardo then's going to have to try and brave it out, same for Charles Leclerc, one extra lap. But luckily, if we have got a lot of extra grip over those guys, which I'm not... we're definitely on the right tyres, but I'm not convinced we've got that big of an advantage just yet. I was going to say, maybe they could hold up George a little bit for me, but I say that. These things are gripping up pretty nicely as we head through Sector 1. Yep, they are. Once you get them up to temperature, a whole lot faster. There we go, Russell has made the move work on Charles Leclerc, I think down the back straight. Of course, aided by the DRS, but he's going to lose a bit of time through the final sector, stuck behind Daniel Ricciardo through the final couple of turns, as Ricciardo's Inters just lose grip there. But purple Sector 2 and Sector 3, as Russell, yeah, is also a good second because of that. And all those little pockets of time are really going to help us out here. So I don't know whether he might have an advantage in the dry, like we saw at Suzuka. That was close. That was scary. But we've kept on to it, man. That's the most important thing. No panics. And I definitely don't need new underwear. Oh, there we go. New fast lap of the day. But Verstappen is about to smash that out of the park. He comes over the line there, dips into the 35s. So yeah, George Russell even. I keep calling him Max Verstappen. I'm sorry. I've spent so much of this game battling a Red Bull owned by a Dutchman, or driven by a Dutchman even, I should say, that it is just force of nature and habit at this point. But yeah, Russell, he's gaining in mainly through this first sector, to be honest. We're just not seeming to get the car planted where we need it. So we had all that free time early on in the race, as now just upsetting the balance of the car a little bit more is not going to help me. Okay, Yuki Tsunoda now, he just wants to pop up and say hello. New fast lap of the day for the Japanese driver. It's mainly because he's been stuck after his grid penalties in the back marker territory, and now is finally starting to get a bit of free air. That Mercedes could have been quite a fast race car today. There we go, another new fastest lap, but how much quicker is George going to go? He says a 34.3 there, so another 1.2 taken at me. Just got to try and keep it tidy through this first sector. That's where we're losing most of the time. But that Red Bull's dry pace is definitely still clear. End of 16. There we go. We're going to try and trade it with George Russell once more there. 33.2. And he does a 32.9. Not as much of a gap that time round. We're definitely getting to grips as the track is still drying. But, yeah, Russell is a man on a mission. There's Verstappen. Now that's what I want to see. Max Verstappen, new fast lap of the day. Come on. Get in this battle. Overtake Perez. Help us in the constructors. Oh, I think everyone's just going quicker. If Daniel Ricciardo can go purple, anyone can. Oh, we've got yellow flags out. One of the Alpha Towers, I'm guessing that's Zhou Guanyu. Going slowly here as he heads through the first sector. Yeah, Zhou Guanyu out of the US Grand Prix there. And despite still the slippery conditions, the FI don't believe we need a safety car for that. So, to be honest, I'm not sure that's a bad thing at the moment for me, because it gives us still our bit of breathing room over George. And, of course, yeah, the strategy call would have been very, very difficult, whether to pit now or pit as normal. I think we're going to box again end of lap 20, there or thereabouts, but we've gone purple again through Sector 2. Capture George has stayed pretty level for most of this lap there, so we just try and keep it nice and tidy through the final couple of corners. Up towards the line, can we go purple once more? Can we beat the lap set by Ricciardo? Yes, we can. 32.0.
Keep this up.
And George, 31.8, another 2 tenths gone. 11 laps to go here. This could really come down to the wire.
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the softs.
Oh lord. Russell, 1.1 out of me that time round. He is flying at the moment, and we definitely made a couple of little mistakes on that lap, but there's no way I don't think I could get close to that sort of pace. Track now pretty much bone dry, so we are just under normal running, but we're going to pit end of next lap. Getting a bit worried because I went purple this time round, and George is still taking more time out of me. 32.1, we didn't even improve as Russell at 31.1. Oh no, it's all not looking good at the moment. Are we going to box the end of this one, or is it worth just hanging out one extra lap? I think it might be worth just staying out one extra. Give ourselves that little bit of extra kick towards the end. But Russell, he is a man on a mission. That Red Bull, you give it a dry circuit, it is untouchable in a similar fashion to how we were in the wet. So As we come around the final few corners then of lap 20, George Russell now nestled up behind us here as we're into the final quarter of the US Grand Prix. Is he going to pit at the end of that lap though? No, he is not. So that was going to be critical there. So I was worried he'd just undercut me and then we just wouldn't have the pace.
Coming in this lap.
We are going to box out at the end of this lap just to confirm with the team once more.
Come into the pits at the end of this lap.
Oh, big lock up down in turn 1 as Verstappen into the lane once more.
For his stop.
And not a tidy run through turn 1. George Russell might be able to get a big run on me down the back straight if he doesn't try to look for anything before then. We'll just sit in the road. You can't really make a move work through the S's, but that often doesn't stop the AI trying to sort of shove the nose in somewhere, have a bit of a look, because I think Russell, yeah, just knows how much quicker he is through this sector of the circuit. But we still have the trump card being track positioned here as we try and put the power down the hill, braking at about the 100-meter board, try and keep it tidy and get a good run on the throttle there. Again, just a little bit of understeer off the corner, but we've given ourselves a little bit of safety this time around. But again, immediately, Max Verstappen George Russell gaining, and look at the top end speed. That Red Bull has got there clean up the inside. We're not going to try and back out of it though, do what we did in the wet period. Can we try and get the power down? There we go, chop under again as we keep it up the inside there. Very aggressive move to try and hang on to the lead of the Grand Prix there. Is all George Russell. He's going to try it again though up the inside through the next corner. He gives us the room, we get the power down, and this is a brilliant little battle with George Russell lay on here in the US Grand Prix. It was a slow burn to begin with this race, but now with just 7 laps to go, it is really starting to come alive there as we almost loop it through the penultimate corner. Into the pits we come though. George Russell and I nose to tail here in the pit lane. This is going to be a battle now between the pit crews that could theoretically decide this Formula 1 World Championship. There goes George Russell. Looks like a tidy stop down at Red Bull. Are we going to be able to match that, or are we going to get held in the lane? 2.8 second stop. It's going to be awfully close. Oh, we've actually done it though. Still in the lead there as we head out of the pits.
See these tyres through to the end now.
But this could be an absolute dogfight there. Look at that immediately. We try and give we try and actually open up the run through turn 1 there, and George Russell tries immediately to snap the opportunity up and have a look up the inside there, but we hang on for now. And now this is going to get really feisty towards the end of the Grand Prix. If you've made it this far, you do not want to leave anytime soon. So I think George tried to have a bit of a look up the inside through the S section there, so just threw away a little bit of pace for himself. He's going to continue to gain down the DRS zone, but not quite enough this time. So we will hang on and live to fight for yet another lap. If we hang on to this, it'll be one of my best defensive drives ever on F1. While Sergio Perez dips into the 30s, I don't think he's going to be a threat late on there as Verstappen goes even faster. So there we go, everyone going faster apparently at the moment. But yeah, I mean, if this all comes to a head between myself and George, Perez could be in prime position to take another race victory this year. I think he's had 1 or 2 to his name, I can't quite remember. It's not as many as I'm sure he would have wanted, but he's been awfully consistent all year, as has kept him close to this battle. Oh, we're going to see George Russell though go again for it as we try and put the power down, get the cleanest run we can out onto the back straight here. 5.5 laps to go here from Capure. You can see we're using all the battery we possibly can, and George Russell, he's still gaining here. This time around he tries to have a look to the outside. We'll give him the room and we'll just slam the door on the exit. He's getting feisty, but we're just learning what we need to do to try and cover it. We've just got to try and keep the tyres in good nick as well. There we go, 30.3, new fastest lap of the day.
That's a new fastest lap of the race.
I was hoping it would be between myself and George, but now we've still got 5 laps to try and defend. I'm just watching the lines Russell takes through the S section and just thinking to myself, there's no way I can do that in this car there. But the fellow Brit is just struggling to keep close this time round. As we head down the back straight, he's going to get the DRS once more, but he keeps trying to have a look through the S's. Actually costing himself time there. As you can just see how much he gains, though, by the end of the back straight. That gap comes down, and this is not over until right at the checkered flag there. But I've just noticed as well, Perez actually closing in on this battle. So maybe it's a 3-car scrap for the win. Could Verstappen potentially pick up the pieces today? Oh, and this is what I was talking about. George Russell this time round, he just was a bit more patient and is held back, so now he's going to be all over my gearbox when we head out onto the back straight. Try and put the power down once more. And here we go then. Is George Russell now going to be able to get the run as we head down the back straight? You can see him gaining once more. We've said it so many times, though. during this race and during this season. And again, he just sits back. He actually noticeably there got on the brakes early down the end of the back straight. So what is he doing? Is he trying to wait to the very last lap there so when we just can't try and re-attack? I don't know what he's planning at the moment, but George Russell, for now, still sits behind us. 2 laps to go. As that is not the line you want to take through the final couple of corners. That's how hard we're pushing at the moment. Let's just run a bit wide through the penultimate turn as well. Yeah, back end almost broke free at 170. That's not what you want. It's just starting to bleed a little bit more here. 2.5 laps to, or less than 2.5 laps to go. Sorry, 2 laps to go of the US Grand Prix. Oh, we just can't quite get the car slowed down at the end of the hairpin there. We just try and put the throttle on the exit, and that immediately is going to be an open door for George Russell. I keep getting the name wrong, I apologise. But George Russell now takes the lead of the US Grand Prix with just over a lap to go here. And are we going to be able to hang close to try and continue this battle? If we can't get back ahead of him before the S's, that might be it done and dusted here, because that Red Bull is so fast through those few corners with George Russell at the wheel here. We are pretty good around the rest of the lap, but it is just that first sector where we seem to lose a lot there. But you can just see now struggling for the first time all day in the dirty air. And look how quickly Russell is gaining there. We're just trying to keep the car as close to him as we possibly can, but the tyres are starting to struggle for grip as well here. Has George Russell just absolutely finessed this late on in the US Grand Prix there? He may have just timed the move perfectly, as I can't help but feel we've over-pushed the car just that little bit too much too soon here in the US Grand Prix. Can we try and stick close through the S's? I mean, surely, look at that. Look at the way George Russell just glides his way through this sector of corners as we're just trying to hang close to our fellow Brit, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough there as we attack the curbs through the final one there. We're not even going to have the DRS. George Russell, he's absolutely nailed that run through the chicane there, or through the S section, sorry, I should say. And George Russell now is looking like we can't do anything late on in this Grand Prix. The battle actually might be with Sergio Perez behind us here, as George Russell has finessed the strategy late on in the Grand Prix. I hate to see it happen, but safe to say Red Bull have well and truly mugged me off there late on in the race. We dominated so much here of the US Grand Prix. Russell got me off the start. We got him back on lap 3 and then pretty much just controlled the pace there until the dry period. We took a bit of a gamble with the car setup, just gave it that bit of extra aero to help in qualifying and in the tricky conditions early on, but it is just, only just, swung in the favour of Red Bull late on here in the US Grand Prix. George Russell is going to come through and once again take even more of a chunk out of our championship lead.
Thank you for all your hard work out there. That was a strong drive and a good finish. Well done.
A truly magnificent drive and a great performance from the entire team to secure the win here in Austin. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
I really feel the track layout combined with the track temperatures we saw today suited their car. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature, and the driver did a great job managing that as well. They just look so comfortable out there. It's like anything, it always looks so easy when it all just clicks.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everyone at the team. This result narrows the gap between our championship leader and the rest of the standings. So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
Luca Giotto gets my vote today.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Red Bull pull further ahead in the standings. Meanwhile, good work from Aston Martin this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. It's been an absolutely wild weekend of Formula One action. I can't wait to see what's next.
Well, there we are then, guys, the end of the US Grand Prix there, and George Russell sneaks away the dub right in the dying stages there, but another great battle between ourselves and our championship rival. 1.3 seconds at the checkered flag, but yeah, we just didn't quite have enough to hang on when it all is said and done there. Perez rounds out the podium, just 1.7 seconds away from the race victory, and Verstappen, yeah, decent P4 there. That's closer to what we need from the Dutchman. Lando, Stroll, Bottas, Sainz, Ricciardo, and Ocon rounding out the top 10 there, with Giovinazzi just missing out on a point there, and Charles Leclerc, despite having a rough qualifying session, had even less pace in the race there, finishing down in P12. Just Zhou Guanyu, who didn't make it through to the checkered flag, and that means championship-wise, we have still got a one-race win margin over George Russell, but just 27 points now as we head into the final 5 races. It will either be myself or a Red Bull that is crowned world champion at the end of this year there. Stroll jumps Charles Leclerc, though, with that decent result. I don't think there's any other movers, though, further down the rostrum. Constructors-wise, though, 61 again. That championship battle opening up for Red Bull once more, and it's not what we want to see at this stage of the year there. AlphaTauri, though, further extend the gap over Ferrari as they try and close up the 28-point deficit, even I should say, to Mercedes just in front of them. But thank you all so much for watching this video nonetheless. If you have enjoyed it, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed as well, and we'll be back very, very soon for round 19 of the year. We head to Mexico. That one, Red Bull, it's often a track they're good at, it's often a track I'm good at. It's going to get spicy. None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members, so a massive thank you to all of the names you see on your screens currently for helping support the channel. You can join them by clicking the join button down below, and yeah, thank you once again to everyone that continues all the insane support on my work.